So here we go. It's time to see which teams are going to screw up their future for the next 5 years and which ones are going to make themselves title contenders. Hopefully we are in the latter. Also, quick little thing. If we freeze it, you'll notice the Clippers have the 14th and 15th picks. That's from the Blake Griffin trade. The 15th pick was originally the Pistons, so just know I did get that trade in there, so that's good. The picks are all where they should be, hopefully. With the number 1 selection, DeAndre Ayton is going to the Atlanta Hawks, and Strong Bob 23, he's okay with it, but he's not loving it. DeAndre Ayton's a beast, and I keep on saying he's the new Dwight Howard. He's like the 2018 Dwight Howard, because he's strong as hell. He's going to dominate on both baskets. He's going to grab 1,000,000 rebounds. But he also has more post-up abilities than Dwight maybe ever had. We'll have to see if he can progress on those. But he's also shown abilities as a shooter and all that. Strong as hell, physical as hell. He's going to dunk on a lot of people's heads. DeAndre Ayton's a beast. And it's nice to see just a total powerhouse at the center position. Because who doesn't love physicality and all that at the 5 spot? Number 2, the Chicago Bulls. Heartbroken that they don't get Ayton. They select Luka Doncic, so one of our potential selections is already gone. I like that pick for them. It gives them a nice perimeter rotation with him, Chris Dunn, Zach LaVine, Lauri Markkanen at the 4 position. A lot of offensive potential there. They needed a guy who could make some shots, but also create for others a bit to help out Chris Dunn. I think Doncic can do that very well for them. The Celtics at number 3, they go with Marvin Bagley III, which means now it's an interesting choice for us because Michael Porter Jr. is now available, and I did not think that was going to be the case. Marvin Bagley and Al Horford together at the 2 front court spots would be pretty interesting, and I have to assume pretty fun. And just imagine Brad Stevens getting his hands on a guy like this and all the athleticism and talent that Bagley has. Anyway, I will definitely explain why I make this selection that I make. But we do go with Michael Porter Jr. Now, the main reason is this. It's the defense, okay? I know that I bigged up Trae Young a lot in the video before this one, talking about how he and Devin Booker could be super difficult to defend for opposing teams and all that. And I also know that we're seeing offensive highlights for Porter right now, so this doesn't make any sense, but my videos have never made any sense. It would have been too much of an uphill climb with Trae Young defensively, and that's not to say that Porter doesn't have work to do on defense, because he does, but I mean, it's almost night and day difference here. Like, I can picture Porter growing into a decent defender. If Trae Young got to average, that would be an accomplishment, and that would take a while. And given that we already have Devin Booker at shooting guard, that guarantees that one of the other guys isn't going to be that great there either. Now you're talking about 2 dudes who aren't very good. That's too much to ask for. You get Michael Porter, you still get the great offense, and you get better defense. So we're going with him. Some interesting picks I want to make note of. Colin Sexton going number 7 to the Magic. They gave us Elfrid Payton, and then they got themselves a new point who should have more athleticism than Payton does and hopefully more excitement. The jump shot, still a question, but seems like he's going to be able to make up for it with just being a beast going to the basket. Trae Young going to Cleveland. Okay. That's something, I guess. I guess it would make sense for Cleveland to use the pick. I mean, it makes sense in 2K because that's just what's going to happen. But in real life, it'll be interesting to see if they end up actually using the pick around draft night. Who knows if LeBron James will actually say what his intentions are. He won't, because that's what he does. But yeah, Mo Bamba to Charlotte. I wonder if they plan on moving Dwight Howard or Cody Zeller, because that's kind of a loaded center position at this point. I don't know. Charlotte's been a decent enough defensive team. It looks like they just want to keep on continuing that trend. We'll see if Kemba actually wants to stay. We have a second pick. This is the selection from the Miami Heat trade for Goran Dragic. We go with Devontae Graham, a point guard out of Kansas who is mainly about 3 things. Number 1 is getting his teammates involved. He averages 7 assists a game in Kansas right now. And I believe his turnovers are not that bad either. I think 7 assists a game in college is pretty impressive, because a lot of the time, dudes in NCAA, the stats that they average are a little smaller than you would expect based on the praise they receive. The second thing that he wants to do is just attack the basket. He shoots like 5 free throws a game in college right now. Now, of course, in college there is not as much spacing, which means it might be easier for you to draw some contact and all that. But I'm confident nonetheless that he can do something going to the rim for us. And then finally is his 3-point shot, where he has shot over 40% throughout his basically all 4 years of college. And he takes quite a few of them. So he has a lot of the foundations that you want as a point guard. As far as how he fell this far, I think number 1 is his defense, number 2 is his general awareness, 3 is his consistency. There doesn't seem to be much to say that he's going to be like a star player, but I think we can grow him into a damn good point guard, and I would hope that he can get some minutes quickly. You noticed that Elfrid Payton was in that practice footage. That doesn't necessarily mean Payton's going to be on the team moving forward, by the way. I tried to trade for Nick Richards because he's a center with some bounce, but the Warriors were not having it. So then I just said, screw it, I'm just going to go with the best guy available at number 31, and that would be Alonzo Trier. I assume it's Trier, I should YouTube this beforehand. Out of Arizona, who just got himself in trouble for some PED use, so the media hates us, but it's a video game, so it doesn't matter. His thing is all about scoring, to the point where it's really like a criticism for him sometimes, because he has ball-stopping tendencies, and sometimes he's not really making the best basketball play. We'll have to work with him. We now have 2 polar opposites on the wing, with him and Davon Reed, so that'll be interesting to see what happens with them. Now if we get to this, number 1, why is Allen Williams only a 68? I thought he was like a mid-70s guy because he's a great rebounder. I don't know what happened there. But nonetheless, we're going to be declining him and Tyler Ulis's contracts. Ulis is 5'10", and he can't put the ball in the basket. So even though he's not a bad playmaker, he's bad on defense, and he's not really a threat to really make plays for guys because he just can't score, you know? If you can only do one thing, how good really are you? And as for Allen Williams, I mean, as an offensive rebounder, he's good. But we have a lot of bigs that we have to give minutes to because I think they have higher potential than he does with Marquise Chris, Dragan Bender. On top of, he really is just a rebounder. Like, when we're talking about rim protection and all that, he's not really doing too much. Now we get to the Elfrid Payton saga, where I'm willing to at least extend the qualifying offer of about $4.5 million, and I would like to keep the guy for a price. And it's going to depend on restricted free agency with him. I mean, if someone offers him a $7 to $10 million contract, then I'm probably out. He's our best point guard on the roster, sure. But at the same time, like, I mean, we all know what it is with him. You know, the lack of a jumper. But not a bad player. And I think for about $5 million at the most, $6 million, sure. He's worth it, if anything, just to be a placeholder for us there. But, of course, if someone comes at him with an offer that's a little too generous for me, then I might be upset with it for about 5 seconds, but then I'm going to let him go. And you can see here, he's already got 2 offers. I think one is just our qualifying offer. The other is about $8 million from the Utah Jazz, a little bit over $8 million for 2 years, or each year, I should say. Also, just so no one wonders, I did knock down Isaiah Thomas's attributes a bit because it kind of makes sense given what's going on with him. Even so, he's still a quality offensive player. The thing says offensive-minded point. Even then, I might give him a little bit more of a boost up because 76 looks a little low. You know, it's basically just a decrease in athleticism, but he can still make shots, hit threes, and all that stuff. Anyway, I'm looking at Patrick Beverley now because there's a chance that Elfrid Payton might be gone. And Beverley's about a couple $1 million cheaper. And he's could be a placeholder for us, which is a term I just used with Payton. I mean, Beverley's 30 years old, and we are desperate for some defense. He could be that for us. And until we find a better option, a long-term option at the point, I think he can at least be something for us. Now, the offensive side of the position, remember, we do have Brandon Knight coming back, and while he's not some incredible offensive dude, he can actually shoot where Elfrid Payton could not. And between him, Devin Booker, Troy Daniels, Dragan Bender, Michael Porter now, we have like some actual shooting on this team, which we didn't have before. And Patrick Beverley could at least fit into that somewhat as a three-point guy. I don't know. Maybe we don't sign Beverley and we let Devontae Graham just develop by getting minutes right away at the backup point guard position. Anyway, I'm declining Elfrid Payton. I'm also renouncing a whole lot of players on this team. But, yeah, Elfrid Payton's gone. He's on the Jazz. So the Jazz acquired themselves another point guard who can't shoot. Him and Ricky Rubio should go over very well. There's a lot of things happening in this video. I think this is a good time to call it. There are some more free agency things we can talk about in the future. But the thing to take away, the main thing to take away, is we got Michael Porter Jr., someone who can be a great small forward, power forward, offensive guy. Next to Devin Booker, we now have two dudes who can average over 20 points a game, and I'm feeling pretty good about it.